It is estimated that in just 1 year alone, 1.4 billion tonnes of waste end up in our oceans, 3.5 million tonnes of plastic are produced, and per household 1 tonne of waste is produced. Every year we are creating more and more waste, and this waste problem is becoming bigger and bigger. So what can we do to avoid this problem and solve this problem before it becomes far too great for us to be able to handle? Let's find out. Now, the good thing is that there are 3 main ways that this problem can be solved, and the first one is all about strict avoidance at the source. Now, this isn't necessarily just about thinking about what we're buying, why we're buying it, do we really need it? That is going to come into it, and that is a big part of it, but it's also about thinking about the products themselves and what they're made of, what packaging they come in, trying to find something that comes in very little to no packaging at all, trying to find products that are made of better materials or come packaged in better materials, such as reusable materials or materials that are easier to recycle. So with regards to plastic, a lot of plastics can't be recycled maybe because they're too thin, or because they are made of a mixture of different plastics, which then therefore means that because some of them can be recycled and some of them can't be recycled, the products cannot be recycled when it's a mixture of different types of plastic. So looking for better materials that can be recycled and reused and put back into the system over and over again to create that circular economy, so that we're not making things end up in landfill or in the oceans or in the natural environment. So looking for products that are made from better sustainable materials themselves and also come packaged in more sustainable, more reusable materials. That is going to be the first way that we can solve or think about how we're going to help this problem and solve it, basically. This then leads us on to the second point, which is all about reusing more than we are throwing away. And this of course does mean thinking about buying products that come in a specifically reusable container. They are products that, especially nowadays, products that are designed to be reused after it's been used for whatever it came in. But also thinking about, like, if you can't buy a certain product packaging free, then thinking about the many different ways that you can use that product or material or whatever it came packaged in for a different use, and also then therefore thinking about the quality of the material of the product or the packaging, and thinking about the longevity of the product and how many times it can be used. So it's all about finding products that come in a reusable packaging and finding reusable products themselves, but also thinking about the actual quality of the product and how many times that will be able to be reused over and over and over again. But it's also about thinking about the whole life cycle of the product. It's thinking about how it was made, what products and materials and processes were used to create the product in the first place, and then therefore what will happen to the product after you buy it. And then the third solution is thinking about waste sorting or correctly disposing of products or recycling products. The reason why this is such a difficult subject is because throughout the UK alone, there are so many different types of recycling systems, and in different areas of the country some materials can be accepted, other materials can't, and each county has their own system. So it's difficult to know whether or not a product can be recycled or not, because it depends where you are in the country and whether or not the council where you are accepts that material or not, which is often why you see on products check local recycling for certain materials. But further to this, when you're thinking about the material itself, you're thinking about if it can then therefore be recycled, how many times it can be recycled, because there are a lot of materials such as plastic that can only be recycled a certain number of times before they lose their quality, and therefore can't then be used to make another product and therefore have to be taken out of the system. Unlike glass, for example, which tends to be able to be recycled over and over and over and over and over again. So if you can buy a product that comes in glass, that is a better alternative for that reason alone. But beyond these points, we can also help this problem by picking up litter, for example, whenever we see it, and making sure that we can get it and dispose of it properly before it can come into harm's way of any wildlife or otherwise pollute any natural environment. But if there's anything else that you can think of for how we can avoid this problem or solve this problem, then let me know. I'd love to hear your solutions. And otherwise, thanks for watching.